Good day, everyone. I am Rosemary F. Humaway, and today I will be discussing the Uppsala and network theory of internationalization. This is based from the article entitled The Internationalization of Higher Education, a Networking Based Conceptual Framework. Talking about internationalization, the Philippine education sector sees the need for internationalization of higher education as a response to globalization just as many other countries. Meanwhile, Killing Lee and Lieva 2015 made a research on the opportunities and challenges in the internationalization of the Philippine higher education sector. It started by looking into the economic and demographic outlook and ASEAN regional integration, where it discussed that Philippines will surely have a great call for higher education due to the growth in wealth. And since English is the official language that is being used by most of the ASEAN countries, Philippine higher education will greatly have the favor. However, the challenge is that Philippines lacks openness to international students and academics. For instance, the process of student visa application is complex and international academics face difficulties when trying to practice their profession here in our country. On the other hand, Philippines embraces a comprehensive transnational education strategy which allows us to get engagements with the various higher education nationally and internationally. However, due to the policy that 60% of ownership of the venture needs to be on the side of the higher education partner from the Philippines, which most of the HEIs from other countries with strong global brands would not agree with, Philippines' ability to attract these higher education institutions is lesser compared to that of the ASEAN countries. Hence, Philippines have lower number of international students. With these challenges, there really is a need for the Philippines to rethink of a strategy on how to internationalize its higher education. In doing this, we can look into two theories on what they would advise we should do to internationalize our higher education. These two theories are the Uppsala theory and the network theory. Uppsala theory of internationalization describes features of internationalization process of firms. It stresses the state aspect or market commitment and market knowledge, and change aspect or current business activities and commitment decision. It comprises four components to enter foreign markets, such as exporting, licensing production, joint venture, and sole venture. Exporting refers to international students studying abroad or pursuing higher education in different country. Licensing production, on the other hand, means twinning or franchising programs. Joint ventures and sole ventures refer to establishment of branch campuses either through partnerships or wholly owned branch campuses. These four components of Uppsala theory of internationalization clearly shows that Uppsala model emphasizes only the economic perspective. However, it lacks the impact on other rationales for internationalization, such as sociocultural, politic, and academic. Hence, Johansson and Valle proposed that the more applicable one is the re-examined Uppsala theory as a network model of internationalization, and we call it the network theory of internationalization. On the other hand, the network theory of internationalization provides platform for external or outsider influences on the internationalization processes. So what are these processes? The first is mobility of international students. Number two, exchange of staff. Number three, knowledge and technology transfer. Number four, curriculum and program development, and number 5, establishment of international branch campuses. The CMO 55 series of 2016, Article 7, Section 16, provides an international academic cooperation agreements which clearly shows that SHED follows the network model of this theory. In addition, networking and internationalization is vital for entering foreign markets and to strengthen the position of the organization. The slides here shows an example of this. This is taken from the presentation during the Higher Education Thought Leaders Conference on May 10, 2019, with the theme Internationalization of Philippine Higher Education. Next is that networking in internationalization emphasizes the importance of organization relationships and advantages gained. Organization relationships can be number 1, formal relationship with financial commitment, number 2, informal relationship with loose contacts between members in relationship with other network members, and number 3, intermediary relationships that relates to influences of the third party and indirect connections. Taken again from the same presentation used during the Higher Education Thought Leaders Conference, you can clearly see the school partners and the TNE programs that they share. For example, in the Philippines, HEI Ateneo de Manila University is partnered with the UK HEI Queen Mary University of London, where the TNE programs that they shared is the MSc Data Science, MSc Innovation through Media Arts Technology. Number 3, networking and internationalization allows for continuous learning in the networks. As what the slide shows, part of being in the network is to exchange ideas, best practices, and experiences in the field. Number 4, networking and internationalization provides a valuable platform to gain the information of the existing market. This is an additional feature of the network theory of internationalization. Through having a network, an institution will be able to learn various projects, such as those on the slides, where the institution can join and continuously join in the future. Number 5, networking in internationalization overcomes knowledge, technology, resources, and trust issues in the international market because an institution will be more adept to new knowledge, technology, resources, which will later on become their edge to gain trust from their network institution. Lastly, number 6, networking in internationalization permits continuous internationalization and allows multilateral influences on international decision making. In short, this is what we call the bridging mechanism, and this is an important element of the network theory of internationalization. For instance, in the CHED Memorandum Order 55 series of 2016, the internationalization strategy written on the slides is being included, which shows that this element of the network theory is being taken into consideration by the CHED. In terms of international cooperation, network forms a multilateral governance structure and helps to develop long-term relationships with individuals and organizations worldwide. These are the governmental organizations or the intergovernmental organizations. Number 1 is the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC. Number 2 is the Asia Europe Meeting or ASEM. Number 3 is the Organization for Economic Cooperation Development or OECD. And number 4 is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or the ASEAN, to which the Philippines is a member of ASEAN and APEC. Here are the 3 vital rationales or motivations for networking and internationalization. Number 1, resource and knowledge sharing. Number 2, mutual learning. Number 3, strengthening the positions against competitors in the market. In the pictures given, you can see how the OECD shares their knowledge to its members. Other organizations do the same, as well as through international summits or conferences. In higher education, it could be through student exchange program or faculty exchange program. Here is an example of a teacher who was able to be part of the Fulbright Scholarship Program. She is a teacher in DepEd Quezon, and she was my classmate back in college in Southern Luzon State University when I was taking BS Ed major in English. Internationalization in higher education is not always a success, especially during its first years. This could be due to these major factors affecting the internationalization, such as number one, the recruitment of international students, and number two, benefits for economic and sociocultural rationale. In the example here on the slides, according to the CNN Philippine staff 2021, there has been a decrease in the number of foreign students enrolling in the country to about 75% due to the pandemic. And because of this, the internationalization of higher education is very much affected. So, how then can we ensure the success in internationalization of higher education? According to the article, here are the useful approaches, strategies, and tools that can be used in international networking. Number one is the bridging mechanism. Number two is market information and penetration tactics. Number three, development of policies and action plans like that of the CMO 55 Series 2016 released by CHED. And number four is the institutional networking. Another thing that is in line with the characteristics of network theory of internationalization is the establishment of foreign branch campuses, in which both the local and international stakeholders can benefit from. In local stakeholders, it provides opportunities to have international students, scholars, programs, curriculum and intercultural understanding, and a venue for local students to pursue their higher education without traveling abroad. The example here is a cultural exchange program of St. Paul University, Philippines, wherein this is a comprehensive program for foreign students who would like to have a taste of Polinian education and experience a new culture, make friends with Filipinos and international students, and improve their English skills in a friendly and family oriented campus. Meanwhile, for international stakeholders, it brings revenue and international collaboration, as well as partnerships with local higher education providers. To sum up, here are the processes that needs to be followed in internationalization of higher education. Number one, mobility of international students, such as cultural exchange program or student exchange program. Number two, exchange of staff, like faculty exchange program. Number three, knowledge and technology transfer. Number four, curriculum and program development, like that of the CHED initiative. And number five, establishment of international branch campuses. Lastly, please do not forget that a strong networking between nation and higher education institutions is required to internationalize higher education. Similarly, in the Bible, it says in Ecclesiastes 4:9, two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. Here are the references that I used in my presentation, besides the one that was given by our professor. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have learned something today. God bless.